Ratchet Poppy, Mr. Receipts, Mr. Retired Side Piece, whatever you would like to call me, that's what I go by. Welcome to another episode of Uptown After Dark. Um, this is the show where we talk about adult content, adult subject matter, um, sex, relationship. We dive into it all from a informative and somewhat comical. We try to be funny here, you know what I'm saying, perspective. Tonight, the topic of the show, the title of the show is called Left on Red. Why do people ghost? Because sometimes it happens, you know, you could be talking to a person for a couple of weeks, couple of days, couple months, they ghost you. You could have, a toxic relationship, decide you want to just ghost, abandon ship, a toxic friendship, decides you want to ghost and abandon ship, and you know, it happens. But first and foremost, before we get into tonight's episode, we want to just give our little disclaimer. So, um, in no way, shape, or form do I condone ghosting. I do think that, in some situations, it may be absolutely necessary. But at the end of the day, we want to acknowledge that ghosting is definitely a cowardly act. And it just doesn't feel good. It's not nice. It definitely can hurt somebody's feelings and hurt somebody's psyche and lower their self esteem and make them feel like they are undeserving and unworthy and a whole lot of other uns. But we're not discussing it because we condone it. We are discussing it because we are trying to explain some of the reasons why a person might ghost. But before we get into all that, I gotta give a shout out to my fam, my brother from another, Luke the Harlem Skywalker. Happy birthday to you. His birthday was the other day. His birthday was Monday night. We had a nice little private celebration for him. Love you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Duina, aka Lady Rebel, over there at Sis Wapide. Shout out to you. Today is her birthday. Happy birthday to you. Want to give a shout out to Lexi Love over at Sweatpants and Coffee Chat. Shout out to uh, my girl Dash, you know what I'm saying, over there. Shout out to all the podcasters and content creators, Black Podcast Network, everybody that is doing anything trying to create dope content for the masses to listen to. We appreciate all y'all, you know what I'm saying, and I support all of the other podcasts and content creators that are out there doing anything, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm out here trying to do my thing, so you got to show love to people. So, first things first, I pop up. We're gonna get into what the definition of ghosting is. For those of you who may or may not know, um, so ghosting is a passive breakup strategy where people disappear in order to typically shorten or end a relationship. So basically, you just fade to black. You're talking to somebody, you fade to black because for whatever reason you decided that you were no longer interested in that situation. And like I said, there could be several reasons why a person might decide to ghost, right? Because ultimately, like, whoever is doing the ghosting, they have their reasons. And like I said, I'm just here to kind of break down what some of the reasons may be. So I think if you're a woman and the dude that you're dealing with gives you a BV, um, you know, you might want to ghost. You know what I'm saying? If a dude gives you some BV, for those of you who don't know, BV, if a dude gives you that's a bad vasectomy, right? If he tells you, you know, he got a vasectomy, and then you let him shoot up the club, but then you find out that his vasectomy was bad or botched, you might want to ghost him, or actually, you might not want to ghost him, but sit back and collect that child support. Don't ghost him. I'm saying, because then you know you and your kid gonna be left on your lonely. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be. Listen, he would hope that you gonna ghost him. Don't ghost him, ladies. Get that money. Get that bag. Um, but a serious note, like if you know if a dude throws off your pH, give you some BV, that is a bacterial vaginosis. Or if you're a fella, she gives you BV, that's a bad vagina. She told you she had that wet and it felt like a desert, it felt like sandpaper. You know what I'm saying? You might want to just ghost her. You went on a couple dates, you know, she told you she had that wop, you thought you was going to hear that macaroni sound, and then she gave you that BV, that bad vagina. You might decide that you like, I'm over this, I'm done. It can happen. I think typically, like I said, there's several reasons why a person really might ghost. You know, they, if you're dealing with somebody romantically, and you find something out about them that you don't like, right? So it could be, you know, as a woman, you find out that a dude, he has he's registered as a sex offender, and I know that's extreme, but it could definitely be a possibility, right? Um, you may feel like, you know what, this shit ain't worth a conversation. I don't need to talk to this pedophile brother about anything. I mean, you may want to get the story. You may want to get the story. The story could, his backstory could be, he was drunk one night. He was within 500 feet of school grounds. He decided that he wanted to whip it out and take a piss because, once you drunk, and once you get to starting, with the urinating, you keep going. Once you break the seal, you keep going. So he broke the seal earlier that night. He needed to stop and pull over. He was by school, and there happened to be, somebody walking out there and saw him, and he got arrested. If he is within 500 feet of a school legally, if he gets convicted, he would have to register as a sex offender, right? It doesn't mean he was necessarily out there doing pervy behavior. It just means that he got caught up in some unfortunate circumstances. But for some women, that might be enough. If she hears that the dude that she's dealing with is and like I said, that's a real extreme case. Like, you hear a dude is a registered sex offender, but like that might be enough to where you like, you know what, I'm gonna ghost him, and I don't want to have a conversation with him about it because he's a sex offender. Or you could find out, maybe you got a cousin that work in the courthouse. You find out that, oh boy, you really like the dude, because this is how women do, right? They really like a dude. Usually they drop a picture of him in a group chat with their girlfriend, so that way they could. And then y'all know this dude. Y'all know the tea on this dude, and then you find out that homeboy had a domestic violence charge. That, depending on your history and your triggers, that might be enough for you to say you don't want to deal with the brother anymore. And once you get to the point where you decided you don't want to deal with him, having a conversation about it is only for their benefit, not for your benefit, because you've already got into the determination that you don't want to deal with this dude anymore. So having a conversation about it, at least from your perspective, is pointless, because there's probably, especially if it's something like a domestic violence charge, right? Listen, whether you've been through that yourself or you have a friend or family member who's been through that, your position on how you feel about that might be so strong that you realize that there is nothing this man can say to convince you that he is worth continuing to get to know after you find out that he had a domestic violence charge, and that's just enough. You just like, you know what, I'm just gonna, I don't need to, I'm gonna delete him, I'm gonna block him, I don't need to entertain the conversation, right? But the root of ghosting at its core is the fact that most people don't want or enjoy having uncomfortable conversations. So if you have already gotten to the point where you decided that you no longer want to engage with this person for whatever the reason may be, like I said, he could be a registered sex offender, he could be a pedophile, you could have went out on the first date and his breath smelled like hot bus seats, you know what I'm saying? You could have, you know, been talking to the brother, you could have met him on a dating app, and every time, you know, you try to talk to him, he stayed just trying to get you back to the crib. He's like, yo, when you gonna come over so we could cuddle? He ain't trying to take you out, he ain't trying to get to know you, he's just trying to get you to his bed. And you may have politely checked him, hoping that he might adjust his tactics, but yet when you re-engage, he's still he's still on that type of time where he's trying to get you at his crib in his bed. You may decide, you know what, this dude isn't, all he cares about is having sex. That's not the type of time I'm on. So you decide that you want to just delete and not engage. I mean, usually, like I said, the root of it is that people don't enjoy or care for having conversations that they know are going to be uncomfortable, and rather than have the uncomfortable conversation, they just choose to ghost, because there's certain things that no matter what the topic is, there's usually not a nice way to say it. Like if the reason you are ghosting someone is because, let's say if you're a woman, right, and the reason you're ghosting is because dude got Lil Johnson, right? You know, he working with being a sausage time. He don't got the kielbasa. You know what I'm saying? He may genuinely be a nice dude, and you don't want to sound shallow. You like you don't want to be judged because you're telling him, yo, I really like you. You're a really nice, sweet guy, but your dick is so little. Like I can't see myself dealing with this for the rest of my life. Right? There's not a nice way to say that. Listen, I don't even think Jesus know how to say that nice. You know what I'm saying? There's not a nice way, you know what I'm saying? Or the other way around. You're a brother, you know what I'm saying? You like, man, your vagina is so dry and open. It's like the Grand Canyon. I just felt like it was throwing a hot dog in the Grand Canyon. How do you say that nicely? Right? There's not a nice way to say that to somebody. So, if depending on what your reasons are, it might be in your best interest to avoid, especially if you. Some men won't take that well. Some men won't take that well. Huh, Rebecca? You don't say. It's my friend Rebecca. You know what I'm saying? I remember one time, you know, I talked about ghosting earlier in my live career. It's one of the first lives that I did. And I remember my friend Rebecca gave me a hard time about ghosting. Told me how immature and petty it was. Until she came back to me months later, my dear friend, and we had a conversation in which she didn't have the heart to tell the man that she was dealing with that he was inadequate. I'm not going to say in what way he was inadequate, but he was inadequate. And then it was like a light bulb went off her head. And once the light bulb went off her head, she totally understood why ghosting might be necessary. Because unfortunately, sometimes it's necessary. There's not a nice way to say hurtful things sometimes. Um, and for me personally, like I've ghosted before. I think um, most of us have, whether they want to admit it or not. And I think that yeah, it's just really not enough. I feel like depending on the reason, yeah, really, yes, really. Listen, we still fam. You know, I still love you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, but depending on the reason, like, there's just not a nice way to say certain things. Like, I mean, you you can try, you know, because like I said in the beginning of this, right? Ghosting is definitely a cowardly act. But I also think that it could be a graceful act because when a person gets ghosted, right, and they go through the range of emotions that one goes through when they get ghosted, because I've been ghosted myself, right? I know it doesn't feel good. You know, you start thinking, what if the person did nothing wrong to be ghosted? Well, here's the problem, right? Um, your actions and or your perception of your actions and the other person's perception of your actions are completely different. So although you might sit there and feel like, oh, I did nothing to be ghosted, you know, depending on somebody's triggers, right? They may have feel like you ghosted them. Let's give a scenario for a second. You're out at dinner, right? And first date, and a woman attempting to be cute decides to dig in the dude that she's out on a date with plate. Just trying to be playful, innocent. She just takes him off his plate. Now, depending on that man's triggers, he may totally feel like you're bugging, you're tripping, you violated his personal space because you didn't even ask, you just reached in his shit, right? And he may be an only child who's not used to sharing. Because people, listen, we all know there's a thing like, you know, only child syndrome, middle child syndrome. Sometimes people who are only children, they are not used to sharing with others. Their mind is centered around them and them only. Right. Not all of them, but some. Um, so now this man feels triggered because you reached in his plate and he feel like you violated his personal space. You may be sitting on one end thinking it's completely innocent. He feels like it's such a big violation that he don't want to fuck with you no more. So again, like your perception of your actions and another person's perception of your actions are two different things because I mean, remember, perception is reality, right? So you always got to understand that your actions and everything that you do, everything that you say, the clothes you wear, everything is going to be subjected to that other person's perception, right? You may wear an outfit that you think is appropriate. He may look at it like, oh, she for the streets. Look at all this cleavage she got on. I don't want a girl who's loose like that. People's minds go down rabbit holes without you even know them. He looking at you like, why her titties out like that? She out here for the street. I want a homely girl. I want a Christian woman with that got values and she got her boobs all out. You know what? So I don't think she the one for me. Like sometimes people minds literally go there and they'll sit there and smile in your face the whole time while their brain is just running and running. And then next thing you know, by the time they mind get running, by the end of it, they've already made a critical judgment about you without even telling you. Happens all the time. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, um, sometimes people ghost because they just simply want to avoid drama. Like if they feel like you have the potential to be hostile, aggressive, any other synonym that you want to use for that, they're gonna avoid having a conversation with you because they are fearful of how you may respond. They don't want the smoke. Like, they don't want to get cursed out. They don't want you to pop up at their job. They don't want you to key their car. Anything that in their mind is, they feel like, yo, this person may lose it if I tell them, you know what I'm saying, that I don't want to deal with them no more. So they just like, you know what, shit, I'm just going to fade out. She'll figure it out. He'll get the hint. Ghosting is needed for mental health. Go ahead, Dwayna. Happy birthday, girl. Listen, true. I mean, I will say this, right? If, and this is in any type of relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship or even in a friendship, if you feel like the way this person behaves is detrimental for the growth that you are trying to achieve for yourself, and being around this person and whatever behavior or energy that they display is going to stop you from your own personal growth, then, and you know that attempting to have a conversation with them isn't going to be positive, that is definitely a situation where ghosting is going to be beneficial for your mental health. Because who wants to, like I said, have a conversation with, you already know the audience, right? You know it's that friend that really low-key hate on everything you do. That friend that don't never have nothing positive to say. That dude that you with that always trying to low-key put you down or gaslight you. And you might feel like, you know what? I'm off this. I need to think about me. I'm just going to fade out. They got to figure it out. If you feel like that's the best thing to do for your mental health and sanity, then by all means, because I mean, at the end of the day, you are good to nobody if you don't take care of you first. And as I'm gonna repeat this throughout the night, ghosting is definitely a cowardly act, but the center of it, the root of it, is that people don't enjoy having uncomfortable conversations. Most people want to avoid having uncomfortable conversations, which is why even in the workplace, right? You'll have the director send the supervisor to fire the mailroom guy because the director don't want to do it himself. It's his job to do it. He know he's the director, but because he has the ability to delegate that task, he delegates that task just because he knows it's uncomfortable for him to do. Right? Happens in every type of walk of life, whether, like I said, whether it's business, whether it's business, professional, personal, friendships. Like, people don't like having uncomfortable conversations, right? So, but how do you deal with ghosting and someone attempts to reappear, right? Because sometimes people ghost, right? And then they see you on social media. You know, you post that pic of you in Tulum when you was in Tulum eating coochie. I was just reading the comments. I had to pause for a second. You know, you was in Tulum. You was at Hedonism. You was in Miami. You was on South Beach, and you posted those bikini photos. You know, or the dude, he posted those, you know, them swimming trunk photos where he get out the water and it's stuck to his thigh. You can see a little print. And then all of a sudden you decide to slide to his DM and say, "Hey, big head, how you doing?" You know what I'm saying? But meanwhile, you ain't spoke to this brother in 3 months. But, you know, you let him go for the whole summer because you wanted to have a hot girl summer. fall approaches. We in October. You saw his pictures from when he was away for Labor Day weekend. You decided to hit him up and say, "Hey, big head," you know. How do you approach somebody who decides to reappear after they ghosted you? So I'm gonna tell you, you got three options, right? Option number one, um, act like it doesn't exist. I'm gonna answer that question, Lexi. What do you do when a person tries to reappear from ghosting? So the first thing you could do is keep moving on with your life. Respect the curve. Act like it don't exist, right? And that is for you to make that decision, for you to have that discernment based upon the level of interaction that you had with that person before they ghosted. Because if it's a situation where you went out on a date, you let him splash on the first night, he hit it, and then he ghosted you afterwards, you might just be like, F this dude. Like, I'm gonna act like this don't exist. If you was talking to the dude for a little minute, you know what I'm saying? You may want to use judgment, right? Because we are living in, we're still living in the COVID era, right? We can't even say this is the post era. I mean, we're not in the middle of the pandemic in which, you know, people were dying at astronomical rates, but we are still living in this COVID era of life. And this is a era of life that is unprecedented, right? And I personally feel that most people who are living in this COVID life are suffering from some sort of PTSD, whether you have a family member or died, or just seeing all of the deaths. You know what I'm saying? That's depressing alone. There's so many people I know who say like they just refuse to watch the news because they get tired of seeing the death, right? And then still in the middle of, you know, this we still have to deal with things like Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, the mass shootings. You know what I'm saying? These type of things weigh on people's hearts, right? Especially for people who, whether they know it or not, but they may be empaths, right? People who have the ability to take on the emotional baggage and stress of others, right? Or it could just be personal family dynamics that's getting to you. But I feel like everybody on the planet is suffering from some sort of PTSD, right? So it could have been simply that the person that you were dealing with checked out for their own personal health reasons, and they didn't know how to get the words together to tell you. Because the reality is, right, when somebody in your life comes in your life and they're new, and please let me know this in the comments, right? Who really feels comfortable pouring out their heart's feeling, their deepest feelings and their hurt and their pain to somebody new entering their life? People have a hard time doing that with people that are already existing and been in their life for years, whether it be friends, siblings, whatever, right? So imagine somebody new coming into your life. You're unsure whether they come and they going, whether they're going to be here for a lifetime or a season, and you want to take the risk of bearing all of your feelings to them. For some people, they don't want to take that chance, and I feel like they are well within their right to feel that way, because most people don't feel comfortable doing it, right? So if they chose to check out, but while they checked out, they took some time to work on themselves, get some therapy, uh, get a hobby, do some yoga, whatever they needed to do to get themselves right. And then after they got themselves right, they attempted to re-engage you, and they give you an explanation as to why. It is up to you, the person who was ghosted, to use your own discernment to figure out whether you want to continue to allow this person to re-engage you, or whether you're just gonna be like, you know what, I'm over it. You had your chance. I don't want to give you another opportunity to hurt me. So you know what? Respectfully, I'm a decline. That is your second option, right? Even if you hear them out, you still could hear them out, and when it's all said and done, decide that you want to decline because you're just not into it. You don't want to take that chance. You don't want to put yourself out there like that, right? Or option three, uh, you hear them out and you say to yourself, you know what? I heard him out. I heard her out. What this person said seems logical to me, seems understandable. I get it. I was going through my own things. I could empathize with them. So I'm going to allow this person to re engage, but I'm going to make them put in a little work. I want to have them prove to me that they are really serious about re engaging me this time because I don't want to get hurt again. So, I'm going to give them the opportunity, but I'm watching. I'm paying. I'm being attentive. I'm making sure that that I am paying attention to what they're doing, so you can see that they're doing the work, so that they can have the opportunity to show you different. But that's how you deal with somebody who attempts to re-engage after ghosting, because, like I said, some people don't like to have uncomfortable conversations, and we do got to understand that, especially within the Black and Latino community, right? Um, Therapy wasn't as popular as it is now, right? So someone like an outlet, whether it be a therapist or friends or family, somebody new in their life, just pouring their soul out, that's not a real thing. Like I don't know too many people that just are gonna allow somebody that's new in their life, and new I mean like less than a year, less than a couple years, allow somebody new in their life to know what's really going on in their heart. Most people won't. Um, and if you know you're one of those people, you might want to attempt to show somebody some grace if that's what it is. Um, let's see. Now, I personally, based on how Uptown Brown, Ratchet Poppy moves out here in these streets, I have things that I like to call ghostable offenses. As a person, you can't really separate yourself from the package that you come with, right? Because if you are dating a person with children, their children is a part of the package. So if the children are badass kids is a part of that package. If there is baby daddy or baby mama drama or baby daddy drama is a part of that package. Um, and you can't, if you're dating with intentionality and you're dating for longevity, you can't separate the person from the package. If you're just trying to, be like a person driving without insurance and you're trying to hit and run, you know what I'm saying? Then the package is irrelevant. But assuming for the people that are watching this podcast, who are people who are focused on relationships and intentionality and things of that nature, if you are dating with intention, you cannot separate the person that you're dating from the package that they come with. So, like I said, if the package comes with drama, if the package comes with questionable behavior, then you could choose to deal with it for as long as you can. But when you get to a point where you feel like you no longer want to deal with the package and the person that comes along with the package, what comes along with this person's package, you can choose to fade to black. Maybe you feel like it's not worth the conversation because you attempted to stick it out, you didn't see any changes, and you just chose to fade out. Um, I definitely feel like if a person is thirsty, and this is really for my fellas, right? If you're thirsty and you keep trying to do nothing but focus on getting inside a woman's drawers and she ghosts you, just take the L, bro. Like, listen, women by now should know that whether a man is a good dude or a fuck boy, scumbag, whatever you want to call him, all men want to have sex, right? Um, Even the good guys, like sex is on the agenda. So, but if you are too thirsty and that's all you talk about, and it happens to rub the woman that you're attempting to deal with the wrong way, and she already politely checks you, and you still keep going, and then after that she just ghosts you, that's a ghostable offense. Ladies too, like there's definitely thirsty women out there. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like women aren't usually as thirsty as men are because women get thrown penis at them all day every day, especially if they work out here in these streets. If you working at home, if she's working from home, maybe she not getting penis thrown at her as much as she used to when she used to work uh, in her office setting. But women are used to having penis thrown at them all day long, so they usually are not as thirsty as dudes. Um, what else is a ghostable offense? Asking for money too soon, right? Like if you're a chick and you just started talking to a dude, and then next thing you know, y'all ain't even been out on a date yet, right? And you hit him like, yo, could you pay for my Uber, or could you do like? I'ma just be like, oh, shorty just trying to look for a bag, because my logic is telling me that you just basically trying to test me, because I would like to believe that in your personal life, in your circle, that if you just met me, I am not your last resource to ask for money. Like there should be several people in your life that you could come to and ask for some bread before you ask me. So if I just met you and you start asking me for money too soon, ghostable offense. We ain't got to talk about it. Like I'm just gonna be like, nah, I don't need to have a conversation with you about it. It's a dub. Um, if the sex is trash, this is for me, ghostable offense. I mean, there's levels to bad, right? But I've definitely in the past spoken of the dead fish. If she is just laying there like a dead fish, not a dying fish, at least dying fish, they flop around, they move around a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But if she's just giving me dead fish, you know what I'm saying? Nah. Or if she smells like fish, ghostable offense. That part. That means your pH balance off, boo. That means you probably got the BV. I'm just saying. Just saying. Um, let's see. Another ghostable offense. Once again, this is just for me. Ghostable offense. If I feel like there is nothing that is indicating romantic intent, because at my age, and I'm gonna be honest, right? I've said this before on Ratchet Thoughts and Isms. Go check it out. Season 1 and 2 available on YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts. Check it out. You know what I'm saying? I feel like once you reach the age of like 30, most people don't make brand new friends of the opposite sex. So if a man approaches you, he is not approaching you with the intent of trying to be your friend. But so if I'm not trying to be your friend, but I feel like that's where you trying to put me, you trying to friend zone me, we could just curve this right there because I'm not gonna play this game with you. There are some men that like to play the friend zone game. They want to play the game, sit around, wait, play possum, and wait for an opportunity to get some buns later on. You know what I'm saying? And that later on could be anything. It could be 3 months down the line, or it could be 3 years down the line. I'm not playing that game. If I feel like you are trying to friend zone me, I am going to just gracefully bow out because I'm not trying to be your friend. Most dudes, most people, whether because women do it too. Women approach men nowadays, right? We live in a progressive world. If someone is attempting to approach you romantically, and then you tell them, well, I got a man, or I'm in a situation, or it's complicated, right? And somebody hits you with the, oh, well, we could be friends. They really not trying to be your friend. They just trying to stick around because they know that they can't do nothing if they don't have what? Access. So playing the friend card gives them access. They can't make nothing happen if they don't have access. So I'm gonna just tell you, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want your access. If we're not trying to make something romantic happen, I don't want it. But like I said, there's many ways to ghost. You can ghost a friend. Like I said, when those relationships get toxic, out of control, and you feel like you need to just let it go, sometimes you gotta let it go. But plenty of things you could do. So we are finally getting to the end of the show. I'm about to wrap it up with this little thing that I like to call Ask Uptown. Right? Ask Uptown, it's just people emailing me, DMing me, and that DM, if you're on IG, you can hit me at Uptown After Dark on Instagram, or you could hit me at this is Uptown Radio at gmail.com. And if you have a question for Uptown that you want to ask Uptown, I will read through your email, make sure that it is appropriate, and then answer the question live on the air. If you want to remain anonymous, you can do so. If not, I could tell all your business to the street, however you want it. However you want it. Now, this Ask Uptown. I'm going to look to my left because I have to read. Sorry, I didn't memorize the email, you guys. Anyway, dear Uptown, I'm a woman in my late 30s that is in a committed relationship with my boyfriend for 2 years. In the beginning of our relationship, the sex was very hot and exciting and filled with passion. Sounds good. I like it. And pleasure. Fast forward to now, my boyfriend doesn't take the same time to take care of my needs. It's basically like when he's horny. When we have sex, it's not lasting long, and I don't get the chance to reach orgasm. Instead, I watch him roll over and fall asleep, and sometimes I run to the bathroom to finish myself off. He's slightly older, in his mid-40s, and tells me that he's tired from work, which I understand, but I'm not getting what I need sexually. Should I confront him about it? I don't want to bruise his ego. Well, unsatisfying sex, depending on the person, could definitely be a ghostable offense. But since you've been with this man 2 years, I would say that would be very tacky of you and very cold and callous to ghost a man that you've been with for 2 years. So you said in the beginning it was filled with passion and pleasure. So, I mean, I heard you speak in this email about the things that has changed within him. I think the first step I would say, is there any change within you, right? Because were you initiating in the beginning and now you're not initiating? Were you wearing lingerie and now 2 years in you're comfortable, you're not? Um, I also think that I feel like honestly at the end of the day, this is a fixable situation, right? Uh, Especially since you're telling me that it used to be good, but now it's just he's gotten a little selfish, because you could have a bigger situation on your hand where like you just frustrated after 2 years and you've been tired of dealing with this small ass penis for 2 years, right? So at least that's not your situation. So this is fixable, right? I think that you know I'm gonna say something that is kind of a contradiction to my mantra. So my mantra is life is too short for boring sex. But I'm gonna let y'all in on a secret, right? You know what I'm saying? Not only am I a sexpert, but I'm somewhat of a relationship expert, right? And to a degree, and I'm saying this to a degree, healthy relationships are boring as fuck. I paused for that because I wanted y'all to think about it. I'm gonna say it again. Healthy relationships, to a degree, are boring as fuck, right? Now, obviously, it depends on the two people that are in this relationship, right? But when you in a healthy relationship, this is what a healthy relationship looks like, right? Your man go to work in the morning, leaves at the same time, comes home at the same time. In a toxic relationship, you don't know when your nigga coming home, right? You know what I'm saying? He go out with his boys. You know what I'm saying? In a healthy relationship, your man go out with his boys. He tell you he gonna be home by 12 o'clock. The nigga might be home by 11:30. You know what I'm saying? In a toxic relationship, your man tell you how he go with his boys. He be home by 12. He may not get home to 6 a.m. Right? Um, I think it is up to people that's in a relationship to maintain spontaneity in their relationship. But when you got a quote unquote good man, that nigga is predictable as fuck. You know when he coming home. You know he go to work. He go to the gym after work. You know what time he stops to go get coffee at Starbucks or Dunkin'. You know everything that he does. And if you don't know, you know what I'm saying, he's checking in periodically with you during the day. So for the most part, you know everything that he's doing. And for some people, that coming in and day out, at some point, listen, you won't have. See, the problem is that what we need to realize is that um, peace is boring, drama is exciting. Sorry, it's the truth, right? Um, you just got to get to a place in your life where you can accept peace. Because some people don't know how to accept peace, especially if they grew up around toxicity. They don't know how to accept peace. If you watch your parents be dysfunctional and your auntie be dysfunctional and your big sister and your brother be dysfunctional, you normalize that behavior and you think that that's what a relationship is supposed to be. Most healthy relationships are boring. You know what your man doing. You know what the kids doing. Y'all plan everything. Y'all got your bills paid. Y'all pay for me. Now, like I said, based on the two people involved, if y'all make it a priority, and this is where the challenge. If you make it a priority to keep it spontaneous and keep it fun and keep it interesting, then your relationship won't get boring. But if the two people involved don't prioritize that, just know good relationships are boring. But isn't that what you want? You want the peace and quiet of knowing your man is coming home every night in your bed next to you. You want the peace of knowing that, you know what I'm saying, he doing what he got to do at his job, so the bills stay paid. That he's gonna make sure that the kids got, you know, they money for their summer vacation and for their summer camp. Now in this particular situation, this woman saying that she wants longer sex. Homeboy is giving her loosies, right? Now he says that, you know, it's because he's tired. It could be because he's tired. If he's tired, homeboy needs to get more rest. If the rest doesn't work, there's definitely performance enhancing techniques that he could apply. Once again, this is National Masturbation Month. Masturbation can help you prolong that ejaculation. So maybe he needs to take some of his private time and masturbate. If that doesn't work, you know, he could take, I mean, ASAP Rocky was using it, you know what I'm saying? We got that pink horsepower, you know what I'm saying? Pink horsepower. I hear it works good. You know what I'm saying? What else is there? He could try reading some books about tantric sex. I mean, if he cares. I mean, at the end of the day, it's really all about whether your mate cares enough to do what he needs to do to keep you satisfied. At the end of the day, if he doesn't care and he is a selfish lover, then my condolences to your vagina. You know what I'm saying? But if he genuinely loves you and he cares about you and he cares about you being satisfied, then he's gonna figure it out and do what he needs to do to keep you satisfied. So I would suggest have a conversation about it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't think see it's all about the language that you use, right? So you just can't be like, dude, you coming quick now. What the hell is up? You know what I'm saying? You gotta, you know, stroke his ego. He was like, babe, you know, in the beginning, you were amazing. You were like a stallion. You know, like my legs used to be shaking after, you know, having sex with you. You know, and I know you be working a lot, play with his hair, stroke his back. I know you be working a lot, babe. I know you doing your thing to, you know, make sure that, you know, our families take care of, and I love that so much about you. But I need you to get back to that place where you was making my legs shake. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all about the language you got. Sometimes you gotta, you know, like, you can't just listen. For most men, the only thing that we feel like is bigger than our penises is our ego. So if you gotta stroke the ego a little bit to get the job done, so that way he could get you back to that place, then isn't it worth it? Humble yourself a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all got kids together or not. Listen, walk around with some boy shorts on. Get his attention. You know, there's definitely things that you can do, but you know what I'm saying? Listen, when you do have the conversation about it, right? Don't be emasculating. Don't bring it at a point where, you know what I'm saying, like, nigga, what's up? You coming in 5 minutes? Like what's going on? What the fuck is up? Like, don't come. Like, try stroking his ego and see the result that you're gonna get. That is my advice to you. You know what I'm saying? Stroke his ego. Matter of fact, stroke both his egos, if you get what I'm saying, at the same time while you're having this conversation. And then see where it could go. You know what I'm saying? I am about to sign off. I am the man known as Uptown Ratchet Poppy. This is Uptown After Dark. Peace. Love you guys. Catch you guys next time.